So now we will be doing cycle detection in an undirected graph by DFS. Now whenever DFS is given, for every time we know we have to use recursion only. This question you can find on GFG. Now this is the graph given to us and this is the vertices and edges. First of all, we are going to create adjacency list. Almost in every question of graph or most of the questions in graph, we have to create adjacency list if it is not given. Okay, what is adjacency list? Adjacency list tells us the connection of the ith node to other nodes. For example, in this case, the 0th node is connected with 1 and 2. So I'm going to create 1, 2 as an adjacency list. Similarly, for 1 it will be 0 and 2, for 2 it will be 0, 1 and 3, and for 3 it will be 2, right? So this is going to be my adjacency list. Now I'm going to make two arrays like how we did for undirected graph cycle detection in BFS. We are going to make here one width array which is going to be boolean, same to the length of v and parent. Here I am going to initialize as false first because we haven't traversed any. And here it will be -1, -1, -1 for initial. Okay. Now in this again I'm going to run a for loop because in question it is given undirected graph. It has not been given whether all the graphs are connected or disconnected. So to make sure, we are going to consider undirected. We are going to consider even if the graph is not connected. For example, the graph is given like this and this line is not there. So in that case the graph is disconnected, and if we use for loop, if we won't use for loop, then it will return false because this thing won't be considered. If we start from 0 and this line is not there, and this won't be considered since it is disconnected, and then we will get wrong answer, right? So we will use for loop. Now we'll remove this. Let us take this only for understanding purpose. Okay. Now let me start with 0th node. My 0th node, I'll make it as true, right? I'll make it as true, and I will write a DFS function in which I, width, adjacent, and this parent will be passed. Okay. Now I'll start with 0 for loop. So I'm going to traverse my 0th node, so I made it as true. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to consider the adjacency list of 0th row, which is 1 and 2. Okay. Now, and since I am starting with 0, so it is going to be -1. The node from which you start, we are going to consider it as -1 or any integer you can take to make to keep in mind from where we started. Okay. You can start with any node. Since we are using for loop, we are starting with 0th node. Now 0th node is 1, 2. Is 1 visited? No, the 1 has not been visited. Then what I'm going to do, see, I was at 0. Okay, now I've reached on 1. Is 1 visited? No, 1 has not been visited. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to run recursion on this 1. Okay, I'm going to run recursion on this DFS function. Now what I'm going to do, first of all I'm going to make it as true since I'm going to traverse this. Okay, now I went for this one. And one more thing, when I consider this one, here I'm going to make its parent position as at 1th index. I'm going to write its parent position, which is 0. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, this happened, then I ran before DFS. We are going to this. Now here I ran DFS of 1. I made it as true. Now 0th 2, we will check the adjacency list of 1, 0 and 2. 0 is already true. 0 is already true. So I'll check whether the 0 matches with the node of my parent of 1. since it was my parent, this was, I'm doing DFS of this, its parent matches with this one. What is the parent of 1? 0, and 0 is here we are considering. It is equal, so that means cycle doesn't exist. We are just considering this is the same line for which we already considered for connection. No cycle. Okay, now I went to 2. Is 2 connected? Is 2 visited? No, the 2 is not visited. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write, first of all, I'm going to make parent. At 2, the parent will be 1. Okay, now I'm going to run DFS on 2. Now I'm going to run DFS on 2. Okay, now I ran DFS on 2. So what is going to happen, since I'm going to run DFS on 2, I'm going to visit 2, so it will become true. Okay, now I will check the nodes which are connected to 2. So I came here, it is 0, 1 and 3. 0, first let's check 0. 0 is connected, 0 is visited. Yes, 0 has already been visited. So 0 has already been visited. So since it is visited, and my node, like since we are doing DFS of 2, its parent matches with 0. Who is this parent of, what is the parent of 2? 1, and here it is 0. That means parent of 2 doesn't matches with this one. So what we are going to return? We are going to return true. That is, cycle does exist. I'll write the code. So this is the code. We saw that we return true when it doesn't match. So here 2, from 2 it is at 1 true is returned, and for 1 we check both 0 and 2, right? And then we again came back to 0, and then at 0 we get true only, so we are going to return true here. You can understand the recursion. For when we do recursion, we backtrack, right? We come again what we are returning. So here from 2 it returned true to 1 when the DFS we are doing for 1 node, and then for 1 we return to 0 when it was doing for 1. And since this condition, my condition got satisfied, I'm going to return true. When I return true for 2 at 1, this condition was satisfied, then it returned true. When this true value came here also, for 0 it returned true, and here it came as true, so I give true. If you have any doubts or you did not understand this, I will make one more video with another example of I will try to explain it more. And if you can write your doubts if you have any doubts in the comment section. And what you want video on another question, you can tell me. I'll make a video and try to explain it. Thank you.